Consistency wins titles, and no one has been more consistent than Bill O'Neill. He leads Group 1 heading into the Stepladder Finals. Can he continue his run toward the championship? Find out next as the PBA Tour Finals roll on. Red Rock Lanes in spectacular Las Vegas, Nevada. It is time to resume the 2019 Barbasol PBA Tour Finals. 8 of the world's best bowlers start day 2 of this event with one thing in mind: winning their group semifinals and making the championship show. When it's all over, one bowler will have a PBA Tour title and big prize money. After our day 1 qualifying shows, we're set for the semifinals of each 4-bowler group. We start with Group 1. PBA Playoffs champion Prather matches up with the event's top seed superstar Jason Belmonte. The winner takes on 2017 PBA Tour final champ Tackett. 10-time Tour champ Bill O'Neill awaits the rest as the top seed of Group 1 in a race to the 2-point match. The winner of this group makes the championship match against the Group 2 winner. Welcome back to spectacular Las Vegas, Nevada. Great to have you with us as we resume the PBA Tour Finals on CBS Sports Network. Dave Ryan alongside Randy Peterson, Hall of Fame broadcast partner, rejoined by Chris Barnes, another Hall of Famer, 19-time Tour titleist through our broadcast as well today. So, partner, fun to watch qualifying yesterday, but now we bowl for keeps, Stepladder bowling, and really through qualifying, Bill O'Neill, Tackett, Group 1 were spectacular.
Yeah, they were, but I think the big story is the opening matchup that features Chris Prather taking on the world #1 Jason Belmonte. And let's not forget, just a little over a month ago, Chris Prather knocked Jason Belmonte out of the PBA playoffs. And I promise you that's something that Jason has not forgotten.
Group 1 leader Bill O'Neill averaged 248, 4 games of qualifying. Why was he so good yesterday, Randy?
Well, you know, he just did everything right. He played the lanes the way he likes to play the lanes. He made shots. He made his spares. He made great choices when choosing the right equipment, and he stayed within himself. Now, he only led Tackett by 2 pins, but in doing so, he averaged just north of 245 for those 4 games.
And our Group 1 top seed, Bill O'Neill, joined now live, lane level by Chris Barnes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Bill, we had a similar 2-day format in the playoffs, and you were dominant there the first day as well. What can you take from that and apply to today?
You know, it's just my confidence. You know, I'm riding high. I'm bowling really well. I have a lot of confidence in playing any part of the lane. So my main goal today is just to watch what they're doing out there, and you know, just take it one frame at a time, and you know, not get trapped into doing the same thing I did yesterday.
Bill O'Neill going for another win. Back to you guys.
Chris, we can't wait. 4 bowlers in Group 1 have one goal in mind: winning and advancing to the championship show. The positioning is over. Now it's time to win or go home. Great PBA bowling next.
The #4 seed in Group 1 owns one career title, the 2019 PBA Scorpion Championship. He captured the biggest prize money event of the 2019 season when he won the PBA playoffs and its $100,000 top prize. From Plainfield, Illinois, Chris Prather. Our #3 seed in Group 1 is the holder of 22 PBA titles with 11 majors, including the 2019 PBA World Championship. The defending PBA Finals champion from New South Wales, Australia, Jason Belmonte. He has been in the finals of this tournament each year since it started, is the holder of 12 PBA titles, including 2 majors. The 2013 Rookie of the Year and 2016 Player of the Year from Bluffton, Indiana, Tackett. The leader in Group 1 comes to us from Langhorne, Pennsylvania, is the holder of 10 career PBA Tour titles, including this year's PBA Hall of Fame Classic. He owns one PBA major, the 2010 United States Open champion, Bill O'Neill.
We are ready to bowl. Randy, lane conditions, break it down for us.
Named after the great Mark Roth, 42 feet in length. The players that like to go straighter will play straight between first and second arrow. And guys are going to hook it. They're going to move in. And they're really going to hook it. And we saw that yesterday.
We had some big scores, especially from Jason Belmonte in his last game of qualifying. He'll take on Chris Prather here in our first match of the semifinal. The Group 1 winner will take on the Group 2 winner in the championship show. And that's down the road. First, the semis. It's a new day for Prather. Struggles during qualifying. Wants to turn the page, gets the late hit on the 4. Good start.
Just kind of a medium head belly and medium amount of hook. We saw Jason Belmonte using some urethane in practice, and that's exactly what he's going to start with. And the reason why, he's going to try to go straighter.
Here's Belmo. 35 years old, the Australian superstar with 22 titles, 11 majors, record-setting career already. His day begins with a shot. Perfect location in the 1-3 pocket and all 10 back.
And what makes him so good is, you know, yesterday we saw how much angle he was creating on the lane, and look how straight this shot is between second and third arrow.
He was so far left, he was nearly off the lane to begin qualifying here yesterday, and as he told us pre-match today, he was going to go, at least for Belmo, straight at that 1-3 pocket.
Big finish in game 4 with 289, but he fell 33 pins short of O'Neal. O'Neal 236, Tackett 234. Tackett had a chance if he doubled in the 10th to take the lead. Didn't happen.
Belmo, blast to the rack again. And the good start continues.
Now, as Jason throws that urethane ball down the lane, what it's doing is it's breaking down the oil in the front part of the lane because the surface is so tacky from hitting it with 500 grit sandpaper. But urethane also doesn't absorb oil like reactive resin bowling balls do, so that urethane ball is going to drag oil down the lane. Watch for Chris Prather. If he throws a shot that he likes and he gets it a little to the right and it doesn't hook back, it's because of what Belmonte's doing.
Using the surface. Numbers for Prather. Not a good finish. All 10 back.
No hang yet. That ball snap hooked in the back.
Crunches the 1-3 pocket. Good start for Reach.
Watch this ball reaction as it comes off the end of the 42-foot Mark Roth pattern. Boom.
Chris, got Jason.
Jason, we were talking a little bit about change of strategy today. Can you explain why you went with urethane?
Yeah, if you just give me one little second while Chris does his shot. Look, I wanted to play the lanes a little straighter today. I felt like yesterday my rev rate, especially in the first couple of games, forced me a little further left than I wanted to be. Now, on the double burn and the burn, it was fine. Obviously, my rev rate is actually an advantage. So what I'm hoping to do today is, keep the ball a little more in play to start with. And if I make good shots, progress through my matches, if I do get to play Bill, the lane might open up a little bit for me and I can then get to curving it.
All right, there you go from the world's #1. Back to the pretty guys in the booth.
Hey, did you hear what Jason Belmonte just said? Then I can get back to curving it. He didn't say I can get back to hooking it.
It was a subject of discussion for those fans wondering what Randy means. Yesterday, the hook or the curve?
Yeah, take a look at his arsenal. He's going with pitch black. Well, no, the guy on social media was like, hey, Randy, stop saying curve when it's a hook. Then I had to block him.
Great to have the access with Belmo and Chris Barnes in match as we continue the PBA Tour Finals here on CBS Sports Network. Arsenal for Belmo has the surface to try to alter that lane to affect his opponent. And it continued good bowling like that.
I saw him.
Looked down at that footwork, didn't he?
Yeah, a little landing issue when he got to the foul line. But, yeah, it wasn't too long ago where Jason Belmonte won the Masters throwing urethane and playing a line very similar to this when he beat Michael Tang. I don't know if he stuck. It didn't look like he slipped. Maybe a little stick.
He told us pre-match the guesses just weren't right. Throughout most of qualifying in his 4 games, there's the win probability stat we have for you in CBS Sports Network. So Belmo at 72+% to this point. That may change as the match progresses. Belmo back up. 10 into the pit again. Belmo, a great start. First 4 strikes in this match. Should he or any other player on today's show roll a perfect game, everyone in America can receive a free game of bowling, courtesy of Go Bowling. To claim your free game, simply head to GoBowling.com and register for the Go Bowling Free America promotion. Arsenal for Prather.
Going with the idle pearl. There's a lot of idols on that sheet. Or on that list, rather.
Fourth frame works on a spare.
Wow. Good shot. Good
That's
shot.
the ball reaction he wants.
Yeah, good shot after a poor shot in the third. Just south of 4th arrow, and 6 goes to the sidewall and does its job.
He told us pre-show, after a good night's sleep, feeling a little better. A long cross-country trip after bowling Thursday night, PBA League in Portland, Maine. Some of the bowlers had to deal with the fatigue. But Chris better now. Took a nap during the middle of our qualifying yesterday when he wasn't competing, about 15 minutes. 100% now. All 10 down. And a good match here in our first semifinal step ladder.
Remember what I said earlier about that ball kind of wiggling down lane, and that one comes in light for a little light mixer, but something to definitely keep an eye on as the oil pattern transitions. And again, in case you're just tuning in, Jason Belmonte is using urethane, not reactive resin. Urethane dries up the front part of the lane, carries oil to the back part of the lane.
You don't get to be the world's #1 without some versatility. And Belmo can do it all, including another strike. And he's off to a tremendous start in this semifinal match. Being Belmo, some of the attributes and the career accomplishments of the two-hander from down under. What a career.
Yeah, well, this is since 2018, and the reason why he was the #1 seed coming in. But in 23 events, he had 14 top 5 finishes.
Wow.
And 6 wins.
Wow. Four titles this year. Jacob Buttriff, the Group 2 leader after qualifying, has 3 titles. There's still a battle for Player of the Year. Belmo, the front runner now, looks for the front 6 in this match. Tap on the 10, down it goes. Perfection continues. He needs 12, he's got 6 for a perfect game. Jason Belmonte showing us why he's the world's best bowler. A lot of family and friends are here. Anthony Prather, Chris's dad, on hand here in Vegas at Red Rock Lanes, hoping his son can overcome a 33-pin deficit. And so far, a perfect game, the front 6 for Belmo. Head-to-head with his young star. Chris originally from Pensacola, Florida, now the Chicagoland area. Big shot, second half of the match. Perfect shot for Prather.
Boy, did he throw that one good. Hey, Chris, other than the obvious with Belmonte starting with a front 6, what do you see in terms of Prather's ball reaction? Is it being affected quite yet? The last shot looked great.
Yeah, it seems like on that right lane, he's pretty much got it down. This left lane last time looked like it wiggled a little bit, and now he's either going to move one right or he's going to have to throw a little slower. And I don't know if that's from the urethane or if, but I think most likely it's from that, and he's going to have to make an adjustment here.
Thank you, sir. Let's see. Remember last time, just a little light on this right lane, or excuse me, on this left lane.
He did strike in the 5th, had the 7 spare in the 3rd on the left lane. His 7th to cut into the lead, a 10-pin. Every time he shouted.
Well, he really liked that, and he should have, because he gave that one a little bit more business at the release point. Watch this. And because that lane's a little tighter down lane, the ball kind of sits in that oil a little too long. Ring 10 every time.
Chris had a totally different strategy, he told us pre-match, and different mindset entering the Stepladder semifinals. Cross lane, enough, just enough for the 10. And the spare to keep things interesting. Our Barbasol close shave replay of the day. Get right to it here, Randy.
As it should be, because he just barely shaved the left edge of the 10-pin here.
Just enough. Got it.
That was close. But hey, all looks the same on the scoreboard. Belmonte now up by 24, Dave.
To the 7th as the front 6. Looking for number 7. Ringing 10-pin on a really good shot.
Back-to-back for both players, and well, another good shot for Jason Belmonte on that right lane. Chris Barnes came by to the booth and said that looked like he threw it faster, which would make sense, that he would leave a ringing 10 on that shot.
With an elbow spare ball. Jason very active on the business side with a tire, a video game. You showed me on your phone. Looked like fun. You can download that at the App Store.
Yeah, it is fun. A lot of fun.
Stat pack is up. The numbers and the breakdown. No opens yet. Belmonte the front 6 before the 9 spare, now to the 8th. 23-pin single elimination match. The winner takes on E.J. Tackett. Group 1 semifinals. Big shot. Helmo. You bet.
And again, I can't say it enough or stress it enough, where you have a player with that much power that can open up the lane by 25 boards and then go as straight as he's going now. It's quite the arsenal to have. His toolbox is full, that's for sure.
And your afternoon's off to an unbeaten team as Tiki Barber and Brandon Tierney are bringing you a fan and player perspective to all the latest sports news. Don't miss Tiki and Tierney weekdays at 3 on CBS Sports Network. Eighth for Prather. Works on a spare. Wow. Blisters the rack. Those pins had no chance. And this is a fun match to watch.
He's so dialed in on that right lane, especially. I think he feels more comfortable on that lane because there's a little bit more return from the right. Max score 256 for Chris Prather, 279 for Jason Belmonte, and the winner will meet that guy. You know what his nickname is in Portland, Maine?
What's that?
The Squirrel.
Eddie Jr. Tackett, EJ. What a bowler. And a golfer.
You know what your nickname is in Portland, Maine?
I'm afraid to ask, but go ahead. I know you're going to say it.
Flounder.
Animal House reference? I love it. We had some old school movies yesterday.
Sorry, that made no sense.
So cut it to 13. Foundation frame.
Wow.
That looked a little off target, did it? Heading down lane. Good ball reaction into the pocket. Enough to get all 10 back.
I don't think it was off target. I think that, again, is that's oil that's pushing down the lane. I think this looks like a really good shot, and it just labors on that left lane. I think that kind of made up for that ring in 10, too.
He will take it. 13-pin match now. It's Belmo to expand the lead back to 23.
Belmo strikes on this shot, and then first ball in the 10th, he'll move on to take on E.J. Tackett. Big shot right here.
His night frame. Whoa! Watch out. 4-7-9 split. Yikes.
Holy cow. I can't believe this just happened. He liked it. He was running that one out. And forget just a 4-pin. 7 and 9 join.
He got it! What a conversion for Belmo!
Well, I was going to say it was must make.
And for good reason, it's the hammer tough spare replay. How about the 4-7-9 for Belmonte?
If he misses this, Prather can double in the 10th and shut him out. And now Jason Belmonte needs a double and 8. And he will advance. What a conversion that was. Wow.
That's what he needs. E.J. Tackett awaits Group 1 Stepladder semifinal. Seven pin, near split again.
Well, now he runs the risk of losing. Prather, if Belmo converts the 7-pin, Prather will need a double if Jason gets good count on his fill shot. Again, you can see the tightness of that left lane.
Chris, what are you seeing?
Weather is carry down, going down right there. That split, though, is the kind of shot that can win you an entire tournament. Had he doubled, he would have got himself into the next round guaranteed. Now he's going to need some help from Prather, who's been really dialed in on this right lane.
Yeah, exactly, Chris. I was just thinking the same thing, that Prather has looked absolutely perfect on that right lane.
Yeah, I think the shot for Jason on that left lane is a little bit of a manufacture from the right. He threw it slower, but he stuck again on that right lane, and it got up in front of him. He thought he might hold it, but after the ring 10, that was a little bit slower, so he could get the ball to go through the pins better. And the slow and left was, that's the result. That 4-7-9, a tough break on the leave. What a great pickup, though, to still give him a chance. Otherwise, Chris wouldn't need anything here on this in the 10th frame, really.
So, guys, it's up to Belmo. And looking for good pin count here in the 10th. Up by 12 now. Wife Kimberly from Australia is here after an arduous journey, but she made it.
By 2 minutes.
By 2 minutes. Some late paperwork had to be filled out before she could leave Australia. Watching Belmo here. 2:48, the score for Belmonte in this first Stepladder semifinal for Group 1. Now up steps young star Chris Prather with a chance.
Yeah, he needs a double. And if he does double, then he can start talking about, hey, does Chris Prather have Jason Belmonte's number? I mean, Jason bowled a great game. He made that conversion, that big split conversion, 10-pin in the 7th, and then the 7-pin in the 10th frame. But Chris Prather has not missed on this right lane.
Can he stay perfect? Needs it. Got it. There's one.
I mean, the execution of the shots on that lane have been amazing. And then just a carbon copy of one after another on that right lane. I don't know what he found from yesterday to today, but he found something, and it looks really good today. Helpless feeling.
Needs it. He's got it again. Back-to-back jacks for Prather in the 10th. And now just 3 pins. Keep it on the lane, and you'll knock off the #1 player in the world in Jason Belmonte. And we'll have a new PBA Tour Finals champ after Belmo won it in Allen Park, Michigan last year. He does that right down the middle. Got 8. He's got a win over Belmo in the first Group 1 semifinal.
Heck of a finish for Chris, and made the shots he had to make coming down the stretch. A little unfortunate for Belmonte, and Chris Prather took advantage of it.
A far cry from bowling 193 in the second game of qualifying yesterday. Prather advances. Tackett is next. Chris Prather advances 254, 248 over Jason Belmonte and Chris Barnes. Lane level with Belmonte.
Jason, take us through those last couple frames. A fantastic game in the split. I thought was going to key everything, but what happened out there?
Yeah, well, I mean, the strategy was doing as planned. I mean, I knew that that urethane ball was eventually going to go away. I needed that 7th frame, ring 10 to fall. I think if that one falls, the transition in that ball still happens as it does, but I would have just had those extra couple of pins up my sleeve. Still had ball in hand in the 10th. Threw it okay in the 10th. Couldn't quite get that 7 pin, but then, Chris stepped up, and nailed the pocket twice. And here I am talking to you, saying goodbye.
A fantastic performance, and once again, you made Prather step up. It's, that's who you are every time. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Chris, thanks. And Belmo, thanks for the time. It's tough to do the interview after a difficult loss like that to Chris Prather. So here we go, EJ Tackett, as we climb the step ladder of Group 1 in the semifinals. Here from the PBA Tour Finals, Red Rock Lanes in Vegas. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson in the booth, my Hall of Fame broadcast partner. We saw fellow Hall of Famer Chris Barnes a moment ago as well, joining us all weekend from here in Vegas. Match 2 underway. Prather looks to stay hot. He's got 10 down.
Well, interesting that EJ Tackett, being the higher seed, gets a choice of starting lane, which then obviously determines where you finish. He chose to finish on the left lane and let Prather finish on the right lane, where he just struck out to beat Jason.
EJ Tackett, look out. 4-6 split. Difficult to achieve.
Definitely more friction on that right lane.
Randy, why do you think he chose to fish on the left?
Well, I would think based on what we just saw, the only reason is because he has a better reaction on that left lane. And that would be the only reason, because if he had both lanes the same, he would certainly not let Prather finish on the good lane. And I do think that the right lane is a little bit better than the left lane. What do you think, Chris Barnes?
Well, for sure, for Chris, the right lane is better for him. EJ obviously feels like that hold, he's going to be something he's going to be able to use, but even right there, it just looks like it's going a little bit too long. Some guys just like to finish first all the time and will start on that right lane no matter what, and that may be what EJ's thinking.
Well, I had a couple of schools of thumb when it came to determining what lane I was going to finish on. First was which lane I had the best look on, and second was which lane does my opponent have the best look on. And I didn't care if I finished first or last. I wanted to give myself the best advantage for being able to strike in the 10th frame when I needed to.
Interesting decision by EJ.
Hey, and I said school of thumb, I meant to say rule of thumb.
I know you did.
Right? I misspoke. I take that
School
back.
of thought, rule of thumb.
That's exactly right. See, sometimes I get stuck.
It's okay. You are forgiven, my friend. Prather by 11 here early after EJ had the open frame.
Like sometimes when you got to say goodbye to somebody, you got to say take care or good luck, and it comes out take luck.
I've never heard anyone say that. Cross lane, 7 pin, he's got it. And time now ready for the Columbia 300 fun fact. The number of PBA Tour Finals appearances out of the 3 events. Belmo, Simonson, EJ, 3 for 3. Marshall Kent is second. We'll see him later on in the Group 2 Stepladder semifinals. Anderson, Buttriff, O'Neill, and Prather, their debut at this year's PBA Tour Finals in Vegas. Buttriff leader. After 4 games of qualifying Group 2, he was incredible. Lone lefty.
Yep. Out-averaged the entire field.
Third frame, works on spare, ringing 10-pin.
Yeah, let's take a look at Chris Prather's beautiful game. I love how he's just got a great foundation underneath him. He's in great position here, and then once he starts into that pivot step, nothing moves. Look how steady that head is. Just nothing's forced. No overexerting himself, and yet he's got plenty of power. Just doesn't look like he's using a whole lot of energy to create it.
10-pin after the playoffs and the $100,000 first place prize. He went up with his family to Canada for some fishing, walleye, muskie, smallmouth, and pike. He said it was amazing. Didn't touch a bowling ball for about a week and a half. Chris is back, certainly in the groove now, and he's joined by Chris Barnes.
Chris, a couple tough leaves there the last couple frames. What's going on, and what do you have to do to get the corners out?
I think my ball is just kind of lane shined a little bit, and I think I might actually make a ball change to something with a little more grit to it, maybe like an Idle Pro or something that's going to read the middle part of the lane a little bit more than that Idle Pro will.
That's how the best in the world do it. Good luck. Back to you guys.
So it's very interesting, again, the terminology today versus back when I was a full-time player. But lane shine, so let me explain to you what happens when a bowling ball gets lane shine. So the bowling ball has a certain texture to it, and think of it as little pyramids, right, that's coming out of the surface of the ball. And with each shot that's thrown down the lane, that peak starts to get worn down. So imagine, like, say, a tire tread. If you started, like, burning rubber, all of a sudden that tread would start to shrink, and it wouldn't be as aggressive. It wouldn't be as what's the word I'm looking for? It wouldn't be able to grab the road near as much as if it had fresh treads. So with each shot that's thrown, it takes a little bit of that tread off of that bowling ball.
Love it. Great breakdown and a great shot for EJ. We saw his arsenal a moment ago. Good match here, second semifinal. Winner takes on Bill O'Neill in the race to 2 match. Win 2 games, and you got it. If you split, then it's a 9th and 10th frame roll-off. Basically overtime to determine the winner. Prather steps up, and the 10-pin stands again. Chris just talked to him about the corner pin 7 and 10.
But I also thought he was going to change balls, and he did not. So again, another well-executed shot that doesn't strike, and that's usually what tells these top players, okay, I've got to get out of the ball I'm using, and I have to go to something else to change the way it goes through the pins.
Ten-pin, no problem. Single-pin spare conversion for Chris Prather. Breaking through since 2018. Look at the numbers. 8 top 5s, the PBA playoffs champ, PBA league champ for Portland as well, and 1 title for the youngster from Chicagoland. He and his wife building a new house. They're selling the house they're in a couple weeks, supposed to close, so fingers are crossed for the Prather family.
Now here's the ball change.
There's the ball change.
Yeah. God, if I ever threw it like that, the ball would miss the head pin left. It's amazing how these follow-throughs go to the inside and the ball goes to the right. Yep, and he's gone to a Venom shock on both lanes.
Well, EJ likes it. Do you like that move?
Well, I do, as long as it keeps striking. I think he went to something that's, he got out of the asymmetrical core and is into a symmetrical core, and that's usually going to give you a little bit more down lane reaction.
Win probability is, we update that on CBS Sports Network. First time using that on our bowling broadcasts. The algorithm to give the win probability for these 2 bowlers in this match, and it's close. Tackett works on a double. Has 10 back again.
Hey, Dave, it was a great move, changing balls. E.J. Tackett, 3-bagger. He now has an 11-pin lead. We're halfway through match number 2.
Great match, Prather and Tackett rolling on here. Randy, ball change. Chris Prather worked out pretty well, didn't it?
Well, it did, but you can't draw any conclusions from one shot. But take a look left side of your screens. The new ball change right is what he has been using. You can already tell that he's deeper with that new ball change. And then watch the difference in motion down lane. Much stronger on the left. Worked great the first game, but, you know, lanes transition and change. You got to stay on top of that.
Chris is joined live by EJ.
EJ, normally you're a move guy. You like to use your tools first. What made you make the ball change?
That first shot I threw on the right lane, I thought it was pretty good. Ball hooked immediately. I made an adjustment on the left lane and kind of got a little lazy down lane, so immediately it told me the core was too big. So went to a symmetric ball from asymmetric and worked out so far.
Good move. Back to the pretty guys in the booth.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Chris Prather cutting into the lead. No, with a split instead.
So on the right lane, it's going to react a little harder anyway. He goes a little stronger ball and then pays for it. 4-9. Remember, Belmonte made this on that same lane with the 7-pin.
Great dual look. Pin deck bowler. Let's see if Chris can convert this critical 4-9 split.
Prather, one of the few players left on tour that does not use a dedicated spare ball.
Whiffs. Loses count. Open frame. And Tackett on the bench, working on 3 straight. Sees the lead expand to 25 pins. And look at the win probability shift with the open frame up to 82+% for EJ.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see the probability of me leaving Vegas with any cash in my wallet. What do you think the probability of that
I would
be?
say about 0. 0.0. Prather looking to rebound, does so in a big way. With a strike in the 7th, but up steps CJ in control.
Yeah, and you know, he made the ball change, and now he has 4 shots under his belt with it, and he knows exactly what it's going to do, so he should be really confident with it. You know, the other thing that amazes me about E.J. Tackett is, you know, he's won 12 times, including 2 majors. You know how old he is? He's 26.
Young guy. Getting married this November, right after the US Open. We'd like to make that a wedding gift. Tackett looks for the 4-bagger and leaves the 9-pin instead. Again, the match, which has shifted a lot. The momentum to Prather.
Yeah, ball goes right by it. Hey, Chris Barnes, was that a little farther right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good news, bad news situation there. That was way further right than I think he was trying to get it to.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but it came, you know, he paid the price. It made it back, but...
Now, if he gets it a board right of that, he gets 3 off the right, correct?
Well, maybe not with his rev rate, but it's certainly not hitting the head pin.
There you go. Okay.
The winner in 2017 beat Belmo. The PBA Tour Finals in Orlando. Lost to Belmonte last year in suburban Detroit. And here's EJ again. Trying for the finals for a 3rd straight year. Stat Pack broadcast breakdown. Strike for Tackett.
And I think EJ likes that left lane a little bit better, and I'll tell you why. He's a hold player. He likes to see a little bit of hold in front of him. He knows that he can really bang on it at the release point and have the ball just rev there. And that's exactly what that shot did.
He's struck 4 or 5 frames now.
You know how I know, sorry to interrupt you, you know how I know that what I just said was accurate? Chris Barnes is looking at me, nodding his head.
That's good.
All right, your
confirmation from fellow Hall of Famers.
Absolutely.
See each other.
That was awesome.
O'Neal is the top seed of Group 1. And a race to 2 match. That's to determine the Group 1 winner. Prather steps up. And a perfect ball reaction for 10 back.
I'll tell you, Chris and I are getting really good now, so we've got a visual on one another. So he just holds up a couple of fingers and tells me how many boards left. Prather just moved. So Chris held up the peace sign. He moved 2 boards to the left and probably moved his target. One or two with it, maybe one. So a 2-and-1 move would be a parallel move, right?
What a different story from day one of qualifying for Prather, who told us pre-match he was just frustrated all day long.
Oh, he looked
games. He just could not get out of his own way in a lot of aspects of his game. But things have turned today. He's beaten the #1 seed and top player in the world in Belmonte already. Foundation frame time, and all 10 back for Prather, who looks strong.
He had the same look on his face bowling yesterday that I have when I wake up in the morning and look at myself in the mirror. Puts the good touch on this one and keeps his hopes alive. Now he could strike out for 224. However, E.J. Tackett can strike out for 238. Let's see what he does on this right lane.
Needs to go up by 14. Does it?
Chris Barnes, that had to be 2 or 3 boards left of the last shot on that lane.
Yeah, at the arrows, I think that last shot was the one that really loosened him up. Even though he did not strike on it, it's the one that lets him know he's got way more room right than he thought he had. I don't expect any shots to miss the bucket from here on for him.
I believe one more strike and good count, and EJ will move on. Yes, that is correct. I'm getting the nod by statistician Mike Edwards.
Great to have Eddie in the booth, as usual, with us. Thank you, Mike.
Boy, it got quiet, and then it got real quiet.
Tackett steps up.
Beauty.
Crushes the pocket. And blisters the rack, all 10 back into the pit. Again for E.J. Tackett.
E.J. Tackett, if you can believe it, has not won this season.
That is hard to believe, after 3 titles last year.
But he's 6th in earnings and 3rd in average.
Does it again.
Wow.
This man loves the big moment. And E.J. Tackett moves on to take on Bill O'Neill to determine the Group 1 champion.
This game is so crazy now. He changes balls and goes 10-pin 3-bagger, solid 9 4-bagger, and then his tour rep, Brett Spangler, comes over and hands him another bowling ball. And I get it. You want to look. You want to get a little feel. Why complicate things? He's got a great look with the ball he has. Chris, talk to me.
Well, I did, actually. Once.
Many times I think you do want to take a look there, but with Bill O'Neill being right of him, I don't see him getting out of the ball he just finished with there at all.
Interesting move. Game is already at hand as Prather finishing up. E.J. Tackett will advance. And Bill O'Neill in the race to 2 match is next as the top seed after qualifying in Group 1. Tremendous run for Prather. Beat Belmo, could not beat Tackett, who loves this event. More PBA Tour Finals action coming your way next from Vegas. Barbasol PBA Tour Finals rolling on here on CBS Sports Network. Bill O'Neill, E.J. Tackett for the Group 1 win. It'll be a race to 2 match between 2 of the best in the world. Time for Go Bowling with Randy. This comes off the Go Bowling Facebook page. A question coming from Adam Morse. Are you ready, sir?
I am.
Yesterday, you gave some advice on how to slow down ball speed. Today, the opposite question. So, always been told to increase ball speed with my legs. Is it as simple as moving your feet faster? That is the question from Adam.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's how you want to do it correctly, is you got to get your feet moving. But remember that the bowling ball always tells the feet how fast or how slow to go. And you do this or dictate this with your push away. For example, if I push the ball away nice and slow and late, my feet are going to go slow. They're going to be waiting for the ball to get into the swing. But if I stand farther back on the approach, hold the ball a little bit higher, and then jam it into that push away, my feet are going to haul. They're going to fly right after that swing. And so that's how you increase foot speed. Get the ball into the swing faster and sooner.
Good tip for Adam.
I hope so.
Go
Hope it
Bowling
works,
with
Adam.
Randy off the Facebook page for Go Bowling. And thanks for the question. E.J. Tackett is ready to take on Bill O'Neill. Race to 2 match number 3. From Vegas, it's next. Recap some of the tougher moments of his career, which has been spectacular. Hall of Fame, 19-time PBA Tour titleist, the great Chris Barnes.
Hey, if you really want to pile on, who do you think I beat for my last title?
4-7, underway, O'Neill.
My last title came more years ago than I care to admit, but it was against Chris. But then again, you know, Chris, he makes a lot of shows. And you can't win them all. That's the unfortunate part.
O'Neill. 4-7. It's a race to 2 match, so 2 games would give you the victory. If it's tied 1 each, then we have a 9th, 10th roll-off to determine the champion, to get that second win. Possible. Big drama here. E.J. Tackett looks good. Beginning his second game.
Yeah, if his ball reaction holds up, he may not miss for 2 games. The only thing we saw from him yesterday was an occasional wide right. I mean, get that OB down lane and then miss the head pin, but we haven't seen that today. He's got a great ball reaction right now.
Continues to look great. And a perfect start for EJ here in the 3rd match, the race to 2.
Another brilliant shot by the squirrel, and I love when he comes back and he acknowledges the crowd. But take a look at how he just gets every bit of it. That bent elbow, open hand release, uses his legs. Talented kid.
Back to Bill at 4-pin stance.
Well, the lanes have changed a lot since the last time Bill O'Neill threw a practice shot. Chris Barnes, what do you see early on?
Well, I see Bill actually moving further right than he played him at all yesterday on the shows. He's gone down to a web tour, which a little smaller court, hooks less, allows him to move 2 or 3 right with his eyes and probably 4 to 5 right with his feet. And he's trying to stay away from the traffic that both Belmonte created with the urethane and then obviously EJ, so he doesn't get caught in any of the jet wash there in the middle.
So you're saying right of where Belmonte was?
Right of where Belmonte was and even right of where he was yesterday.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Chris.
Numbers for Bill, we saw a moment ago, 983 for the 4 games. To lead all of Group 1. And that's the ball reaction that he wanted for a strike in his 3rd frame.
So, Chris, in order for...
Bill.
Oh, never... Hey, Chris, can you hear Randy? Hey, go ahead and ask Bill what he has to do with his hand to get that ball to push through the front part of the lane.
Hey, Randy wants to know, what do you need to do with your hand to get that ball to push from a further spot right in the lane?
Yeah, so I'm just trying to be really soft with my hand and lower my grip pressure, so it doesn't read the lane early. I got the 2 lanes a little different, so I just got to figure that out. But I think I'll be all right.
All right, good luck.
We have a technical issue with the machine currently, so we'll get that looked at.
Yeah, it's the lane next to the lane he's going to bowl on. Yeah, it looks like they've got it handled.
Let's see where these 2 bowlers, Randy, are playing the lane, attacking the pocket.
So here's Belmonte with the urethane. Right around 13th board. O'Neal. And that's straight up 10. Second arrow. And that's 10 in the pit. Or as I like to call it, full rack attack.
That's a good one. One of your many strike calls. And E.J. Tackett on fire beginning this game after the win over Prather in the second match. Prather knocked off Jason Belmonte to begin the Stepladder bowling here in Group 1, the semifinals. 2017 did E.J. in Orlando.
We were there.
It was fun. First PBA Tour Finals on CBS Sports Network. This is year 3, and E.J.'s always in the hunt. With shots like that, there is a reason as he tries to win for the first time in 2019.
That out to in swing gets that hand in a great spot, and certainly doesn't hurt any that he's got great hand-eye coordination, is evident by his scratch golf game.
Tremendous golfer. At one point, it was possible E.J. could have gone the pro golf route. He was that good as a junior player. Opted for bowling. Good decision. O'Neal, full frame, works on strike. The 9 goes down late, and he cuts into the lead.
Barnes walked over and said E.J.'s last shot was way right, and it still gets back in. That's a great problem to have. But Bill O'Neal, he's hanging. He's hanging in there. He's trying to figure out exactly what his ball is going to do when it leaves his hand. And I think he's got a pretty good idea now. There's no way that he's going to be able to get where E.J. Tackett is and play the lanes like E.J. He just doesn't have the rev rate. So he's got to find something way right, just like Chris described. And you heard what Bill said in terms of how he has to play out there.
Just one career TV appearance against E.J. Tackett. I think we called that one too, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Shawnee, Oklahoma. Fifth for O'Neal. You bet.
Yeah, great shot, William. Cuts the lead, or excuse me, reduces the deficit to 11. Boy, did he snap the 10 out. Watch this. 6-pin gets called for clipping. And Bill O'Neal looking really good now after, I wouldn't call it a shaky start, but maybe a feeling out start.
E.J. 4-pin.
Let me just tell you
Balls late.
Let me tell you how huge that break is, because now he's going to make an adjustment off of that, and he's not going to go high again. And his string stays alive. Front 5 now for E.J. Tackett, courtesy of the Trip 4, right-hander's best friend.
What a start. Front 5, and looking to get halfway home for a perfect game. Max scores. Well, you can't get better, E.J. How about 6? Yes! E.J. Tackett works on the perfect game. We've seen this today, but no 300 yet, Randy.
Perfect through 6. O'Neal's can still shoot 279. This is a slugfest.
E.J. Tackett, big lead. Bill O'Neal, Group 1 semifinal match 3 is underway. Looking for a perfect game as well. Randy, time now for track technique with Bill O'Neal.
If you say so.
I do.
All right, Bill O'Neal, I love this game because it's old school, traditional. Not a whole lot of upper body lean in this game. He's a little bit more square than, say, your traditional power players of today. But he's got great lines, great swing direction. Look at that hand, fingers right up the back. But this is where it gets really, really good. The hand wrist actually bends outward. And what this does, folks, is it helps to keep the elbow in. When you're at home the next time practicing, try to take that hand and turn that hand out. Take the elbow and turn it in.
Love it. Great tips, Coach. O'Neal's down by 31 despite a pretty good game. Works for the four-bagger, which he's got.
Rack,
Cut the lead to 21.
rack shredder.
Chris spoke with EJ a moment ago. Barnesy, what did he tell you?
Yeah, EJ said that he did throw a good shot. He got fooled. It had a little bit of transition. He's just going to make a...
Typically to find more oil. No, O'Neal's not going to move in. He's going to stay out, and he's just going to fire it.
7th frame for the five-bagger. It's a nickel for O'Neal.
Hey, and just keep one thing in mind. If E.J. Tackett misses once and goes 9 spare, all of a sudden we have a tie ball game. This is the heater. Yeah, that's
right
like,
at that puck, isn't he?
That's like straight up 10.
Tackett does it again.
Just
Continues his brilliance.
just mauling it right now at the bottom of the swing. Check this out. He got all of that one.
7 in a row. Looking for the perfect game. Completely dialed in and looking to win $10,000 bonus if he bowls at 300 on TV. Also the first game in the race to 2 here against O'Neal. Looks for the front 8. Not this time. It's a 4-pin that stands. The streak strike is over.
Very fortunate to only leave the 4-pin on this hit. I mean, that could have been 4 through the middle. Instead, it's just the 4-pin. He'll make a move on that lane. When he gets back up for the 10th. And just like that, with 2 strikes here in the 8th and 9th, we'll be tied. Now both players, max scored 279, Dave.
Wow. What a start that would be to the race to 2. I mean,
well, we'd have to
we need some extra bowling.
We'd have to have a roll-off for this one game. And then the race to 2 is a 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
Look at the win probability, 82+% for EJ right now. O'Neal steps up, and it's a 10-pin that stands.
So how did that win probability know that William was going to leave a ringing 10 on that shot?
It's a very smart algorithm.
Well, great shot thrown by Bill, and that ringing 10 might be the undoing here in game 1. What a season he's had. You spoke about it earlier, and boy, he really turned his bowling career around last year and worked really hard on his game, made some changes, went back to being him, and with the help of his dad, Bill Sr., got him back, dialed in, changed his ball speed, got slower when he needed to get his ball to come around the corner and read the heavy concentration of oil in the mid lane, and now look at him this year.
Right frame, all 10 back for Bill O'Neal. He won the PBA Hall of Fame Classic in Arlington this year on tour. And 4th in earnings, 10th in average, entering the PBA Tour Finals here in Vegas.
Just a solid year.
EJ steps up. Looking for his first win of 2019. The TOC runner-up this year after 3 wins in 2018.
PJ goes spare strike in the 10th frame. He'll shoot 259 as this ball throws 10 in the pit. Bill O'Neal can strike out for 258. Strike on this first ball in the 10th frame. EJ Tackett will take game 1.
That's how you do it. Stepping up in the 10th.
Amazing. And just the one ring and 10 for O'Neal. That otherwise we could have had a 9th and 10th frame showdown, but he just got some room and he's executing, and for the most part, he's striking when his ball hits the pocket. Just that 110 pin. Excuse me, that 4 pin when he went high.
Not what he wanted. 210.
Chris, what happened on that shot there where he just 210'd?
I think it's actually a little bit of loss of focus, but that left lane, that front does hook earlier. So the deeper he goes, if he misses in long like that, there is potential where it can go by it a little bit and hit that carry down we saw early on in games 1 and partway through game 2.
Despite that shot, still a 265 for EJ. So here's Bill. We'll show one of the shots for O'Neal there. And we'll go to break because Tackett has won this first game in the race to 2. We'll try to wrap up winning the Group 1 Stepladder semifinal when we return to fabulous Las Vegas. Race to 2. And the match underway as EJ Tackett wins 265-237 in that first game. Needs one more game for the victory to win Group 1 over Bill O'Neal, who's joined now lane level by Chris Barnes.
Bill, a fantastically executed first game, but a loss. What do you have to do to turn that around in game 2?
Yeah, I'm going to make a big move here on the right lane. EJ is going to bowl another big game. His ball reaction is great. So I need to strike a lot, and I don't think I can strike enough on the right lane playing straight. So I'm going to change to Chaos Black and move a bunch left and stay straight on the left lane, and let's see how it goes.
All right, there you go. On to game 2. Back to you guys.
Hey, CB, thanks. Big move plan here for Bill O'Neal. Randy, do you agree?
Well, it's risky, but, Bill is going with his gut, and he doesn't feel like he can beat EJ Tackett throwing it straight on that right lane. So I like the fact that he's committed to making the change.
Game 2 unfolds. Perfect start, perfect shot, EJ Tackett. This weekend, he looks good. The move left, O'Neal. The result, good start.
Great start. Hey. Execution on a scale of 1 to 10, that was a 12. Chaos Black, I believe, on the right lane, and Web Tour on the left. Think about how straight and fast he was going, and then to be able to switch gears like that, well, you better have some talent.
Good luck out of his hand. I'm not sure why. Because he blisters the rack again.
I think he thought he missed a little wide with it and was going to flat 10.
Wow.
Yep, he did not like that, but there's a little pickup area in that part of the lane.
Remember, only 2 pins separated O'Neal and Tackett in qualifying in Group 1. Jacob Buttriff won the Group 2 qualifying. And Tackett is winning this one.
Got a lot of game.
Locked in.
He's got a lot of game, and he's fearless.
What a competitor. You're right about that. For such a soft-spoken guy, I mean, off the lanes, he lets his bowling do the talking without question.
Chris Barnes, do you like the move? I know it's early, but you like the move that Bill O'Neal has made?
It's a prime example of your opponent forcing you into changing strategy. It speaks to Bill's experience that he's not afraid to throw it 2 different ways and try and do whatever he has to do to win versus just doing what he wants to do.
Tackett still locked in.
But Chris, do you like the move?
I do. I think he can bowl 230 to 250 from out, and I agree with him. I'm not sure it's enough, and so I'm a fan of being aggressive and going after whatever you think your max score is and relying on on your repeatability and your ability to make shots. And he obviously feels like he's bowling great, so he's not afraid to throw it 2 different ways.
Chris, they're making shots now, 5 for 5. Perfect start. Lots of strikes. O'Neal, that's a high shot. And a 3-6. Up for Bill for his spare.
Here's the first strike that he threw. You can see that that's just left of 4th arrow, about 21-22 board. And this is how he's playing the left lane. 12 boards difference. A little concerned now with this last shot, Rhino, because he struck the first time he tried to curve it on that lane, gets up, does the same thing, ball overreacts, goes through the nose, and then Bill comes back looking puzzled. So Chris Barnes, I put it to you, why did that shot go through the nose that O'Neal just threw on the right lane?
Well, like we talked about earlier, he's trying to stay to the right to avoid the jet wash, and he got in the middle of it there, so he's going to have to probably make a 3-2 left off that shot and hope that it hooks back.
Trying to stay ahead. As the rails break down on these TV lanes, and not the shot Bill wanted there as leaves the 4-pin. Everything transitioning.
Maybe just a little firm on this shot. E.J. Tackett in his wheelhouse. Bill O'Neal manufacturing right now.
Well, as Bill told Chris, rematch. Going to have to make a drastic move because as things stand, it was going to be really tough to beat E.J. with the way Tackett is bowling. And that's played out so far in this second game, the race to 2. E.J. won the first. Looks for the front 4. Not this time. 2, 8, 10. Tough split.
Chris Barnes, was that just in and fast?
A little in and long. I don't know that. He looked surprised, and to be honest, I was surprised too. I haven't seen his ball do anything but peel off the end of the pattern so far.
Talk about breathing some new life into O'Neal.
Game changer. And the open frame off the perfect start. Flow Bowling is the exclusive home of PBA's Extra Frame and features live streaming of all Go Bowling PBA Tour and PBA 50 Tour events. Right now, Flow Bowling has live coverage of the PBA 50 Dave Smalls Championship Lanes Classic. Action continues tomorrow and concludes Tuesday with a Stepladder Finals. So get your subscriptions today. Click on the Flow Bowling link at PBA.com. Win probability numbers, there you see it. And there you see a 7-pin for EJ.
Right over the top of the 7-pin. Watch this. Wow. I think it was the 2-pin. 2-pin up and over? Yeah.
7-pin, no problem there. Lanes breaking down, things are changing.
Yeah, EJ in practice told me that no one leaves more over the top 7s than he does, especially on this type of machine. And here it comes rearing its ugly head at a very inopportune time. Wow, the momentum has surely shifted in this match.
Big changes, Chris.
Well, I
Great stuff.
I think this is a big shot because he went strike and then through the nose. He's going to move, and then that happens.
Again, it's high.
What the hell is that?
He's off the mark again.
So
6, 9, 10.
Sorry, Dave. So Chris, let me bounce this off of you. The first shot he throws, trying to hook it, he goes dead flush. It looked perfect. The next shot goes through the nose. I'm assuming he moved off of that to the left, and then this one goes higher.
Yeah, I think he has to move back to the right. Now that EJ has a miss and give him a little bit of room, I wouldn't be afraid to go back to what he went to and just hope that EJ is not going to throw all of them from here on out.
Lots to cover here, guys, and perfectly executed spare with 4 pins up. For O'Neal, that's a big mark.
So Chris, you want him to go back to throwing knuckleballs on both lanes?
I think I wouldn't be afraid to. I've been confused twice off a couple of pretty good shots and a big move. I mean, the two options are that, in my opinion, he's going to move 3 more left and hope that he finds some push in the front of the lane, or he's got to move back to what he knows out there around the, throwing it up 10.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll watch for it. Oh, man.
Wow. Either lane, troubles. 4-6-7 now with a tough split again for O'Neal. He is looking for answers desperately.
Last shot on that lane went light. That looked like a pretty good shot. I don't know if he got it in or not, but if he did, that would certainly cause it to go high. That lane certainly has a little push. May have touched the holes a little bit too strong in that shot, but what a seesaw battle we've got going on here. E.J. Tackett, 16-pin lead.
Hope for the best. The first frame, that good? I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. The fucking ball went right through it.
Bill O'Neal trying to get some advice. Heading into the next shot in this second game. Kickoff every weekday morning with the most dynamic duo in sports radio as the boys bring you up to speed on all the action from the diamond to the gridiron with hot takes and top-notch analysis. It's Boomer and Gio, weekdays starting at 6 a.m. Eastern here on CBS Sports Network. Resuming the second game. Sorry for our technical issue a moment ago, trying to listen in to Bill O'Neal. 16-pin lead. Chris, what are you hearing down there?
Well, I talked to EJ a little bit, and he's taken full accountability for his shot. He said he just missed left and he spun it, and that's why it didn't hook. He did miss that one.
Yeah, but that one started to go, and then it actually stood up and stopped, which is not a bad thing to happen either.
Yeah, he's just going to get on it a little bit and get it going forward to make sure it picked up. That was the one thing he was afraid of after spinning it. You're just going to roll the next one.
16-pin lead can increase to 26, and halfway to punching his ticket to the championship match.
Be the third straight year E.J. Tackett's done that. 2017 PBA Tour Finals champ. Locked in. All 10 back into the pit again. 60 feet to success for E.J.
I've waited over an hour and a half for you to say that. Why do you do that to me?
It's all about the timing.
Bill O'Neal in trouble. He has to win this game to go to extra frames. Well, he's doing exactly what Barnes. No, he stayed in and hooked it.
On an open. Strikes. Big response for Bill O'Neal.
It's a good shot there. Now, what happens on this left lane? He just keeps chasing it left and opening up that lane. That was perfect. He's staying with the same ball on that left lane.
Win probability way up there for Tackett. To reduce the deficit to 16. Some help. No. That 5-pin was just hanging out and it would not drop for Bill.
Paralyzer 5 coming up. And just a terrible break. Plenty good enough to strike, and he needed it.
That look says it all. 5-pin, no worries there, but needed to strike badly. In the 8th frame, up steps Tackett. Chance to increase it to a 36-pin lead as he looks for the turkey here. 8th frame. Break it down with the stats pack. Open. 1 each in this match. 6th for O'Neal and 4th for EJ. They're going to put down the hammer. Gets the break across lanes to kick out the 10.
What a shot for E.J. Tackett. looking to slam the door shut, steps up and just shreds the rack with a massive messenger head pin coming across and just slams right smack into the 10 pin.
The lead balloons to 36 pins. Now to the 9th, looks for 4 straight. And to get closer to the championship match. Tackett. Whoa, 7 10s instead.
What a crazy game. Only 3 times has the 7-10 been made on television. Can EJ become the 4th? I think the last time it was made on TV was early 80s.
Hoping to kick it over to the 10. Open frame in the late going. Now it's 22 pins. Here's O'Neal working on a spare into the foundation frame, the max numbers. Bill's got a chance.
Yeah, but Tackett's still in really good shape. Max score for O'Neal is 209, and that's if he strikes out 9-10. Beauty there. I know it's a little late, but he wishes he would have found that early on. He wouldn't have missed the move after that first strike that he threw on the right lane. So 2 more here and good count. Force EJ Tackett to mark. Anything can happen. 2 splits now for EJ Tackett. 2-8-10 coming on the right lane, and then the pocket 7-10 on the left.
Jess Stayrook, by the way, 1991 Tucson, Arizona.
91.
Last
Okay.
7-10 split converted on TV. O'Neal. 7 pin goes down late.
Well, I know who the first one was that made it, and that was Mark Roth. Same player that this pattern's named after. And Bill hanging in there, trying to put a little bit of pressure on EJ Tackett, at least make him show up. That's the phrase out here when a player's beat, but they throw 3 or 4 to end the game and force the opponent to mark in the 10th frame, and they'll come off the approach. Make him work for it. Hit it. Oh my.
Somehow spinning.
There you go high and then just
Still misses the 10 pin.
Crazy pin action on that left lane last couple of shots. So 198. EJ Tackett's gonna need 8 pins and 2 balls.
Somehow I think he can manage that. Frustrating for the top seed from Group 1. Only a 2-pin lead through qualifying over EJ Tackett. Needs 8. Will get 8.
Fortunate.
And that is it. EJ Tackett knocks off Bill O'Neal in 2 straight to win Group 1. He's off to the championship match.
Ladies and gentlemen,
211-198 final score of the second game after EJ won the first, posting a 265 score, and he advances to the Barbasol PBA Tour Finals championship match to try to win for the second time in 3 years. EJ advances 2 straight over O'Neal to win Group 1. We'll hear from the winner with Chris right after this.
Our Group 1 winner, a very dominant performance, and it's, I think, underrated how much the lanes change sometimes. Really amazing for a while, and then it all kind of went upside down at the end. Take us through how much the lanes changed in your 3 games.
Yeah, they changed quite a bit. The start of the first game, I was throwing an asymmetric ball. Found out the core was a little too much, hooked too early, didn't hook down lane, switched to a symmetric ball, moved 4 left, and it was great for a game and a half. And we got into the last half of that last game, and I ended up moving, and then lanes just got super cliffed. He got it to the right early, it overhooked, missed it in, and wanted to go the other way. So they got pretty hard there at the end.
If you'd have had a couple more frames, what would you have done?
I think it was just move a couple more left and do it with ball speed, and make sure I get my ball to go forward and just slow my ball speed down.
Okay, like you lifted 4-pin, where actually you tripped the 4-pin there in the middle. What is your move off of a small miss like that?
On this particular day, that was a 2-and-1 left. 2 with my feet, 1 with my eyes, just to make sure that ball didn't overhook again.
And that's pretty normal for you, right? And higher rev rate players, lower rev rate players like me, more like 1,
Yeah.
And you guys move a couple and then hit it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Now in the final match, you're going to be on the fresh. How much is that going to change your strategy?
Well, it all depends on who we get here. You know, Butters is leading. If I end up bowling him, I can kind of do whatever I want, and I'll have the lane, my side of the lane to myself. So it just depends on who we get out of this match and what my game plan is going to actually be.
Well, we already talked. You're going to have a little Capriati's in between to fuel up. Who do you want to face in the final?
You know, I don't care who I bowl ever. That's just been my mentality my whole career so far. You know, I feel like every time I step on the lanes, I can win. So my opponent, to me, it doesn't matter. It's kind of irrelevant. So whoever it is, I'm going to go out there and bowl the best that I can, and hopefully I can get a win today.
The mindset of a champion, Group 1 winner, EJ Tackett, will be back after this.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much, and thanks for EJ's time. He'll take on one of the 4 bowlers we saw there a moment ago, getting sets. Some picks for the Group 2 semifinalists. More coming up from Vegas.